I'm glad we got together this afternoon. Remember last time we met, we would talk about differentiation with multiplication. Leanne was having some trouble in her classroom, so let's see what we can come up to help her with.
Yeah, I'm really glad, because I still have several students who really aren't getting multiplication, and I'm not sure that I'm using differentiation in the right way.
Okay, at our last meeting, we decided to bring back different strategies that we could use to help her in multiplication.
I'm so excited you're going to share these ideas with me.
Even though they are third graders, they should know by now the concept of multiplication. Some of mine, and I know all of us agree, have students that are struggling.
Yeah, it's really important that we keep in mind each student learns in their each individual way, and so if we differentiate, then you're sure to cover all of them.
It's really helped me to remember when we were at Mercer and using the Mercer way of thinking on learning how to write lesson plans. It really helped me to learn how the different strategies through each student's learning level and the multiple intelligences. This really prepared me for using instructional differentiated strategies that work for my students. It really helps.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and share our ideas and strategies with Leanne. Maybe these will help you, and you can take some of the ideas back to your class and try them with your students for multiplication.
I'm listening to each of you. Go ahead when ready.
You know, after Cindy mentioned about how we learned the Mercer way of thinking, I remember how important using differentiation is, and it helps in my classroom too.
Yeah, using the Mercer way of thinking has made me a better teacher in my classroom. I feel very comfortable with my lessons when I use differentiation with my students and their different learning abilities.
Okay, some of the ways that I help with my students is lots of times I use the popsicle sticks, and you put the multiplication facts on this side and you put the answer on the other. So they're studying the multiplication fact and flipping it over. It's like saying your first and last name when they're learning the multiplication facts. Another way that I differentiate in my classroom is a lot of the times we do the time multiplication test for our children. There's a lot of children that can't do a time multiplication test. They just get so upset because they can't get them done. So what I do with some of my children, especially the lower children, I will do oral multiplication test with them. I'll set the timer and I call them out and they give me the answer. And a lot of times they can get them orally when they can't get them writing them down because they're so frustrated. And another way to help them is, they're in their agendas, and it helps them in a lot of ways, is use their multiplication chart. But you don't want them to depend on that either because they can't use them during testing, so you really need them to memorize them.
Those are all great ideas. Another idea I love to use is using flashcards with my lower level students. You can use them in a partner or in a small group setting. You can do it different ways. Like each student can have several cards and they can hold it up to their forehead and with their partner or a small group and let the other person answer. This lets them work together and use their different multiple intelligences.
And during my lessons, I use these little wrap-ups, and what they have to do is match the answers to what is multiplied by. We use versatiles, and when they get done and need a little enrichment, we use math charts, and they really love it. And they tell each other by telling each other what level they're on, and everybody tries to compete and outdo one another on what they're doing.
Another thing we can use through all this, I can use multiplication poster, and it just sets it up for them already for 3 times 5. It's 3 rows of 5. Then you can use the tiles, and you can have glue on the back of it, and then they can also do their little blocks and everything. And it's 3 rows of 5, and then 3 times 5 is 15. And then it's also for visual, and it's for hands-on experience through the ones that are either low, and high learners love to do it also, and it's also a challenge.
Okay, all of those make a lot of sense to me. Thank you guys for sharing all of your ways that you differentiate in your classrooms.
Another way I learned through helping in Computer Lab is shepherdsoftware.com, and I'll try to send all this, the email through to y'all.
I'm glad that we had that time to share all this with you. I hope this helps you with your multiplication facts with your children. You know, collaborating and bringing ideas to the table is how we work together as a team, and I hope this helps you.
And really all of the ideas that we talked about are differentiated, and they can be used for all levels of learning.
And using differentiation will help your lesson go a little more smoothly because you've got all different level learners that can all be working on different things all at the same time.
And also these different strategies can help in the multiplication lessons. And these can go for a goal for motivating the students and in their learning.
Okay, well, I'm really excited to go write my multiplication lesson plans and use all these different ways to differentiate in them.
I'm glad to see what we have discussed has helped us to know that teaching
The Mercer way of thinking
finishes can make students of all levels of learning successful.